Charo was a familiar face for many people growing up in the 60s and 70s. She was and continues to be an enigmatic character. While Charo never really landed any long-term roles, she seemed to pop up in almost every popular TV show of the era. Even today, she's still landing roles and cameos in movies like Sharknado 5, where she played the Queen, and Thumbelina, which she provided the voice for Mrs. Toad. She started performing from a very young age in her homeland of Spain and was considered a guitar prodigy in her teens. She could also dance, sing, and act, a true all-rounder when it came to the stage or screen. Whatever you know about her, it's almost sure you'll recognize her by her popular 60s and 70s catchphrase, Cuchi-Cuchi. In this video, we'll dig deep into the archives of everything Charo. Charo joined a convent as a toddler. Charo was born in Murcia, Spain, and given the decidedly regal and lengthy name of Maria Rosario Pilar Martinez Molina Baeza. How she ended up with the short and sweet nickname Charo is anyone's guess. When she was young, her parents enrolled her in a convent boarding school, hoping to get a pious education. According to Charo, it was one of the nuns who noticed her talent for performance and encouraged her to train for a career in show business. She started playing guitar at age 9, taking lessons from one of the masters of classical Spanish guitar, Andres Segovia. She married a 66-year-old man when she was maybe a teen. Charo was either 15 or 25 when she married her 66-year-old first husband, depending on the sources, who you talk to, and myriad other things. Whatever the age, it was clear she was several decades his junior. Spanish-born Xavier Cugat was a well-known musician and bandleader working in America. He spent his younger years in Cuba. He later emigrated to the U.S., becoming a restaurant owner and popular performer in Hollywood. Their marriage lasted just over a decade. Charo later said she only married Cugat to get into the U.S. Her birth year is mired in controversy. According to her original birth certificate and American naturalization documents, she was born in 1941, though she always claimed to be at most 10 years younger than that. When she first arrived in the U.S., she would say she was born in 47 or 49. Once, at a court hearing, she said those details were incorrect and she was actually born in 1951. The story she gave for all the confusion was that her parents faked her birth documents to marry Xavier Cugat at such a young age. But there's also evidence Charo graduated from high school at 16, and some sources name her as Cugat's 18-year-old protege. So what's the truth? It seems like we'll never know. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First for more, and stick around for a lot more about Charo. She first became famous on The Ed Sullivan Show. While Charo's first ever American TV appearance was on The Today Show, she's most famous for starring in 4 episodes of The Ed Sullivan Show alongside her husband, Xavier Cugat, and his orchestra between 1965 and 67. Later, she appeared in a few laugh-in sketches where she used her lack of English fluency and bubbly, enthusiastic persona to expert comedic advantage. Other popular TV shows at the time picked up on her ability to captivate an audience's attention and brought her on as a guest or included her in sketches. Charo appeared dozens of times as herself and other Charo-like characters on shows by Joey Bishop, Dinah Shore, Carol Burnett, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Johnny Carson, and on Hollywood Squares, and in comedy specials hosted by Bob Hope and Dean Martin. She was mostly typecast in Charo-type roles. Charo really wanted to be an actress, and it was a source of frustration for her that American audiences seemed to enjoy her only for her Charo-esque qualities. She either played herself in cameos or was typecast into characters exactly like her, even if they had other names. For example, on Chico and the Man, Charo played a character called Aunt Charo, but on The Love Boat, where many watchers will remember her best from, she played a recurring character named April Lopez. She played 3 almost identical and extremely Charo-like characters on Fantasy Island, named Yolanda Morales, Maria Diaz, and Dolores de Mercia. And once she'd invented that never-forgotten catchphrase, Cuchi-Cuchi, the cult of the Cuchi-Cuchi Girl was seemingly impossible to escape. Her fame exploded with the Cuchi-Cuchi catchphrase. When Charo first arrived in America from Spain, she had limited English. Despite this, she kept landing roles on TV. To compensate for her lack of speaking ability, she invented a unique way of greeting people. She would shimmy her body while saying the now timeless catchphrase, Cuchi-Cuchi. Audiences loved this vibrant expression and quickly dubbed Charo the Cuchi-Cuchi Girl. But where did this expression come from? Well, in conversational Spanish, it has humorously sexual overtones. But Charo says she invented the phrase to honor her beloved family dog, Cuchillo, which means knife in Spanish. This cute pooch got the nickname Cuchi-Cuchi because of the peculiar way he shimmied from one side to the other as he walked. The late 70s were a weird time for Charo. In the late 70s, her mental health started to take a dive. She was headlining Vegas shows and getting paid bucket loads. Some reports say as much as stars like Dean Martin, Ray Charles, and even Frank Sinatra. She was made a citizen of the United States in 1977 and divorced her first husband in 1978. It seemed like she was everywhere, but the public had enough of her, and her popularity took a plunge. But Charo wasn't fazed. She took a break from the limelight and dove back into her first love, Spanish guitar. Charo is considered the world's best flamenco guitar player. To this day, Charo is considered one of the most accomplished flamenco guitarists in the world. In 1994, her flamenco guitar album, Guitar Passion, went platinum and snagged her the Best Female Album of the Year at the Latin Grammys. She's also been named Best Flamenco Guitarist in a reader's poll by Guitar Player magazine 2 years in a row. Despite her on-stage persona as a ditz, there's no denying she's a highly talented musician. Charo can speak Japanese. Aside from being able to speak Spanish and English, two of the world's most commonly spoken, Charo can also turn out some decent Japanese. She's very dedicated to her family. When her son was young, she and her second husband, businessman Kjell Rosten, moved to Hawaii to raise him in a more natural environment. Because there were so many Japanese speakers there, Charo decided to learn the language too. In the 80s, she also built an enormous family compound in Beverly Hills, where she lived with at least 14 members of her family. Everyone had their own living areas and communicated via a property-wide intercom system. Charo's second husband committed suicide. Tragically, Kjell Rosten committed suicide in 2019 at 78. According to Charo, he suffered from a rare, incurable, and torturous skin condition called bullous pemphigoid. The autoimmune disorder causes the skin to break out in thousands of painful blisters. As Rosten's health declined, he had to take an unending regimen of medications to control his illness. As the pain became intolerable, his depression worsened, leading him to eventually take his own life. Despite it all, Charo never seems to quit. Despite all the hardships Charo has endured, this at-minimum 70-year-old is still as active as ever. She appeared on Dancing with the Stars numerous times in the 2010s and has held cameos and other roles in recent movies like Sharknado 5, Thumbelina, and most recently 2021's The Bitch Who Stole Christmas. She is adored by audiences worldwide, not only as the Cuchi-Cuchi Girl of the 1970s, but also for her incredible talent as a classical guitarist and versatility as a bubbly, vibrant stage, TV, and film performer. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think she deserves to be better recognized for her contributions to the silver screen and the world of music? Let us know in the comment section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.